Yeah, let me introduce you to Mistra Future Fashion now. Mistra Future Fashion is a global research institute, and their aim is to make the linear system smarter, circular, and more sustainable. So, circularity again. And yeah, Dr. Gustav Sandin Albertsson, he will present a milestone in the fashion industry, and it's called the ultra-fast concept. And the ultra-fast concept explores the speed of products and materials, and it is a unique closed-the-loop innovation for textile-to-textile recycling. Gustav? Thank you. Yeah, it's a great example for collaborative efforts and yeah, for really, really sustainable innovation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about how we are running for circularity. I'm going to focus on two things, strategic design and a new way of recycling. These are 2 out of 50 projects in the Mistra Future Fashion project. This is a research program that is one of the largest research programs in the world on sustainable fashion. And my name is Gustav, and I'm a researcher at the Research Institute of Sweden, and we are leading the research program Mistra Future Fashion. Sustainability is the challenge of the fashion industry. We are the 7th largest industry in the world. We are among the top 5 dirtiest ones. Not a good thing. We see that we have heard a lot about the effects today about microplastics in the ocean. We know about water depletion in cotton cultivation, toxic emission in water in the wet treatment processes and in cultivation, etc., etc. We have feedstock problems. 90% of our fibers are either oil-based or conventional cotton. That's not a good thing. Meanwhile, we have double consumption in the last 15 years, and each garment is used less and less and less before it's thrown away. We create more waste than ever. I say waste in quotation marks because we see it as an unutilized resource for new fibers, because we need new resources. And the waste we create is very complex to handle. We have seen some examples of how we can handle it, but most of the waste are blends, and we can't handle them in large scale today. This is the backdrop and the challenges that we are trying to tackle in the Mistra Future Fashion program. We are 65 partners that have come together to produce new knowledge and new innovation. We started 2011, and we are funded by Mistra, the Swedish Fund for Strategic Environmental Research. What makes us unique is that we have a system perspective, and we do research ourselves. And when I talk about ourselves, I mean the 14 research institutions that are Mistra Future Fashion. And we work together towards our vision to enable systemic change of fashion and industry. And to do this, we need the industry on board. And therefore, we have more than 50 partners in industry, NGOs, authorities. We have brands like H&M, Philippa K, Houdini, and many more. We have startups, we have trade organizations, we have fiber producers like Lensing, that we heard about earlier today. We have big forest companies. We have collectors like iCollect, etc. We have a lot of partners. And when we talk about circularity and sustainable fashion, we are talking about production and use of clothing that is sustainable across the whole life cycle. We are talking from fiber production to the end of life or the start of a new life. And we need changes across all these phases, across the whole value circle. And today I'm going to talk about technology and design. But we also need policy making, we need new consumer behavior, research, and much more. And therefore, we are structured in our research in design, supply, recycling, and user research. Because we don't want to do something in this part of the system that have unwanted effects over here. For example, we have design researchers from University of the Arts in London, and they work very closely with material scientists, with LCA experts, with recyclers, and other expertise to make sure that the design recommendations they come up with make sense from a system perspective. So we have the capacity to work across disciplines in Mistra Future Fashion. But circularity is the tool we are using. It's not an end goal. The end goal is sustainability, and not everything circular is sustainable. So we are using life cycle assessment to check everything we do, that it makes sense from an environmental point of view. And this is the research I do. So we have produced a lot of LCA reports, reports on the environmental impact of various kinds of fashion. And we have studied a lot of indicators, but here I just show one example. This is the climate impact of Swedish fashion consumption. And you can see that production stands for 70% of the impact. This means we need to focus on production. But it also means we need to focus on business models and consumer behavior, because if you use your garment longer, you need less production. 3 times longer use translates to 70% less impact. So, what can you do on the drawing board as a designer about this? Our design research has focused on strategic design, which is about reflecting on the sourcing of material, the production, the speed of material, and planned for the use phase and disposal already at the start. University of the Arts in London has studied what characterizes sustainability for both fast and slow fashion. Slow has been promoted for a long time as the solution to sustainable fashion, and there's great opportunity for slower fashion. But we also can see that consumers, or users as we like to call them, enjoy fast changes, constant changes. How can we meet this desire within the planetary boundaries? This has led us to explore the speed and intended use of the material and the garment. When it comes to slow fashion, we are looking at a lot of business models and how we can design the clothing to match the business models from the start. How we can encourage by design new business models. And here we're talking reselling, redesign, clothing libraries, etc., etc. At the opposite end of the spectrum, we have fast fashion. And we're talking about fast production and fast use of garments. And to make this possible by new recycling technologies and leaner and cleaner production. Imagine if you have a party dress, you wear it once, twice maybe, you don't wash it, you throw it in the recycling bin. This is one idea we have, and how can we make this sustainable? We're experimenting with new bio-based material. Here we have an example of a paper-based material. And this is a non-woven, which means that you can avoid the yarn spinning, the knitting, the weaving, and all these energy-intensive parts of production. So for specific applications, with the right material for the right purpose, perhaps there are opportunities for fast fashion. And we're exploring if this is possible. Of course, always checking with LCA if it makes sense. We have an exciting project on this together with Philippa K, Circular Design Speeds, in which our design research spanned several longer time periods in-house at Philippa K from 2016 to the end of this year to produce 100% circular garments inspired by this material speed concepts, both fast and slow. So watch out in your Philippa K store. Maybe next year we will see the end result. Very exciting research. But as I said, in the future, we need new sources of materials. So we are looking at new collecting and sorting technologies as well. But even if we could collect everything, we wouldn't know what to do with it. The textile waste that we have is complex. We have so many blends of different materials, and we don't have the technologies to handle it. We have seen some examples of technologies today, and there are other examples that can handle specific blends to greater and greater extents. And I think we will need a lot of new processes. There will not be one process handling all waste. We need diversity, we need many flowers to blossom in our recycling garden, and we hope that we can be one such flower with our blend rewind process. The blend rewind process is a new process for separating the polyester fraction and the cotton fraction in polycotton materials. Those are blends of polyester and cotton materials. And we are very proud to present this. The report about this was released in November, and you can find it on our website for more details. The vision is that the cotton fraction should be mixed with dissolving pulp to produce new viscose or lyocell fibers, whereas the polyester monomers, the building blocks, once again can be purified and used for new polyester production. Here we have the blender wine process located. We are taking one common source of textile waste, combining it with two existing industries, the viscose and polyester industries. We are using known simple chemistry, a simple water-based method, known bulk, inexpensive chemicals to make this possible. Facilitate integration. And also we are involving actors that can purify the fraction and spin fibers. So we are not just separating, we are building a whole system. We want to contribute to actionable and commercial processes. And recently, we presented this, what you see here. In September, in our annual meeting, we showed these viscose filaments produced from separated polycotton materials. And these are the first ever publicly shown viscose filaments from polycotton materials. We are very proud for that. The people behind this are mainly these two amazing women, Dr. Anna Palme and Dr. Hanna de la Motte, who have been two of the inventors and the main people driving this work. And this is collaboration between RISE, Chalmers University of Technology, and the forest company Södra within Mistra Future Fashion. We are happy and proud, of course, for the recognition we have received. We have gotten 3 awards from this in the last year. And a Swedish digital publicist, KIT, listed this as one of the top 5 Swedish research breakthroughs in 2007. We are very happy for that. So, at lab scale currently, and we are working hard for upscaling. You can see this as we have just learned how to bike on a 3-wheeler. We are 3 years old, something like that. But eventually we want to skip a wheel and have a real bike. That's the idea. And we don't know if we're going to have 1 wheel eventually. These were 2 examples. One about using material speeds more consciously in strategic design, and one on a new process for separating polycotton materials, blend rewind. This is our contribution to making fashion more circular. Please visit our website, MistraFutureFashion.com. Follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, etc. We have a lot of reports on business models, policy making, consumer behavior. We have a lot of focus on this attitude behavior gap and how we can bridge that. So if you wonder how you bridge that gap and make consumers act, visit our website. We have a lot of LCA reports. We have reports on microplastics also and how you can reduce the microplastic by new ways of building your materials and fabrics. And we have reports on design tools and much more. So please see our website. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.